Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
It's January of 2010, and the start of the year brings new energy and vitality for many online merchants. Many of them are looking to jumpstart sales, trim expenses, and otherwise grow and improve their businesses. For ideas to help with this, we are joined by a seasoned e-commerce expert. He's Lynn Shearer, Senior Marketing Manager with ProStores, a leading e-commerce platform. Well, Lynn, thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you, Kerry. I'm glad to be here.
Lynn, it's the new year, 2010, for e-commerce merchants that are listening to this. What ideas do you have for them to jumpstart sales for the new year?
Well, I'd say one of the best things you can do right now is to give your store a makeover. And I'm not talking necessarily about the look and feel, the design of your store, but about little improvements that can really go a long way to convert more browsers to buyers. And to do that, there are three areas I think you can focus on to drive those conversion rates up. Mm-hmm. First of all, get shoppers to trust you. Second, get them interested. And third, keep it simple.
So how do you address each of those? Trust, interest, and keep it simple.
Well, to inspire trust, I think if you ask yourself if your online store makes shoppers feel comfortable doing business with you. Does your store look professional? Again, you don't need a fancy design necessarily to inspire trust, but you need to deliver a professional appearance and experience. So no missing images, correct spelling, good product descriptions will go a long way in that regard. Second, be transparent. If you have third-party providers like dedicated SSL certificates, Better Business Bureau badges, any kind of verifiable third-party reputation builders that you can display on your site also go a long way in showing potential buyers that you're a safe place to shop. Mm-hmm. And finally, another idea that I think is gaining a lot of popularity is customer reviews. If you can show people that you've got an existing customer base that shops from you and that have provided some feedback on the products you sell, that can go a long way as well. One of our own merchants, ProStores merchants, CurrySimple.com, actually improved their conversion rate by more than 50% quarter over quarter at the end of this past year just by adding product reviews.
Wow. So are those reviews, searchable, spiderable?
Well, that's the other. I mean, that's an additional benefit of having that content there. Those reviews are searchable, and it can help you generate. We all know search engines love frequently updated, relevant content, and if you can create more of that through product reviews, all the better.
That's interesting. Lynn, we're hearing from merchants coming out of the recession. We're hearing from merchants, smaller merchants that are interested in saving money, cutting expenses. What are your feelings about cutting expenses or that general philosophy heading into 2010? And if you believe expenses, if they should be cut or a merchant should be looking to save money, what ideas do you have to save money?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think any business really can benefit from taking a look at costs. I think especially in this environment, small businesses are taking a hard look at that. I think one of the best areas for you to focus on there would be to get smarter about inventory. So really understand what your customers are buying, what's selling the best, and carry that, and if at all possible, only that. In this economic climate, really, it's I don't think we can afford to go deep across a broad product catalog, And we saw quite a number of our customers streamlining their inventory this past holiday season, and we expect that to continue. The other area I think you want to look at expanding your relationships with existing customers. I think the product reviews we just talked about is a good example there. It costs much less to sell again to an existing customer and sell more to an existing customer than it does to go out and try and attract more new customers. So really look at building on what you've already established.
Would that be through additional SKUs, additional inventory, or would it be for enhanced cross-selling opportunities? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going back to that, the way the Curry Simple was able to drive that kind of increase in conversion rate was they had repeat customers, but they weren't buying. There were certain products that they just wouldn't buy. They would come back specifically for something they had bought before and wouldn't look at other products. Well, once he added the product reviews, that then lowered the perceived risk of those buyers for buying a product they've never tried before. If they saw somebody else had tried it, then they were more comfortable buying that. So just by doing that, he was able to get people to expand what they were buying from him.
In the instance of Curry Simple, we're somewhat familiar with him. Very successful business that we admire. Does he moderate those reviews? How does that work?
I don't know exactly how he. Typically, with that solution, you do have the opportunity to go in and look at the reviews that people are putting up there. Now they're about his product, so I don't know that he has a whole lot of incentive to say, to kind of game that to put something up there that to only put up the good reviews. I mean, if he puts up only the good reviews, then somebody gets a product that they're not happy with, then it doesn't do them any good in the end. So, I think my understanding is that a lot of buyers kind of perform their own filtering on things like that and kind of make a decision about whether the review is reputable or credible, and again, it seems to be working for them. So.
Yep, as long as it's honest and it appears to be coming from a credible customer.
Exactly.
It's best
authenticity is key there. So.
Yep, that makes sense. Well, we talked about cutting expenses. We actually hear from more merchants that are interested in ramping up, as they put it. They think we're coming. They think we're coming out of the recession. They think 2010 could be the year that they regain some lost momentum that they had for the last year or two. So let's talk marketing for a sec. And in addition to reviews, do you have any other thoughts about marketing channels or marketing ideas that a merchant may look at that perhaps he or she hasn't considered over the last year or two?
Well, I think everybody's talking about social media. I think it's a good area for people to, and actually in line with cutting costs as well. Now it will take up more time, but I think if you're smart about it, we've seen a number of examples where you can both cut costs from things like expensive paid search and that type of thing, and also expand your customer base. For example, another ProStores merchant, ExquisiteCanes.com, they actually cut out paid search altogether, and they were very smart about the way they engaged through social media and began to drive business that way. They've got a Facebook fan page and are active on Twitter, but they didn't just go in there and just start putting out promotional offers and things like that. They really went out and were genuine about establishing relationships with groups that had common interests as theirs, that were in line with their product line. And then once they've cultivated a relationship, they then were able to begin putting out special offers for people in the groups and driving people to their store that way. Social media, I think, is not necessarily easy. It's free, except in the sense that it does take up your time. But if you're smart about it, I think that's a good way to go for this coming year.
So, for purposes of our listeners that want to look at that specific example, that was Exquisite Canes. Did I say that right, Lynn?
Yes, ExquisiteCanes.com.
Okay, all right. So they're on Facebook and on Twitter. That's great. Shifting gears just a little bit on your company, ProStores. It's a leading e-commerce platform, a hosted all-in-one solution owned by eBay, of course. you're an expert, Lynn, in this business. What trends do you see occurring in e-commerce in 2010? What's going to happen this year, do you think?
Well, I think the economic climate is still going to be a factor. I think we're starting to see some things turn around, and as a matter of fact, the good news was this past holiday season that while brick and mortar was essentially flat, online sales grew by about 6 or 7%. ProStores merchants their sales are right in line with that trend, and in fact are growing faster than e-commerce overall right now. For a variety of reasons. They've identified a good niche product, selling at highly competitive prices, but still at a profit. So we expect our merchants to continue to be able to grow their online business. Also, tied to the economy, typically recessions are drivers of entrepreneurial activity. So that same dynamic that is allowing our existing merchants to expand, we expect to see more people looking to make their own opportunities by starting an online business or as a brick-and-mortar store, bringing that business online and growing their business that way.
So you mentioned ProStores customers experience growth. Say this correctly, Lynn, experience growth in 2009 in line with the industry. I think I read that holiday sales, ComScore reported holiday sales from e-commerce to be up around 7% for the holidays. Are you able to say what ProStores merchants experienced, or is it in line with that? Or
actually, more beyond in line with that. They actually grew faster than that 6 or 7%, well into the double digits.
Yeah.
So,
wow, great. Shifting gears again, Practical E-commerce publishes a piece each month that we call 10 Great E-commerce Ideas. We talk to folks like yourself, and we ask them a single idea that could help a merchant, and that's a very popular piece. So my question for you are, what are Lynn Shearer's top 3 e-commerce ideas to help merchants as we start 2010?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd say focus your business. We see a lot of merchants trying to sell a broad range of products, and our most successful merchants really have a strong focus. I think the 2 examples I've already talked about are great examples there. So really, being smarter about your inventory, taking a look at the 80-20 rule, that most of your revenue, 80% of your revenue is probably coming from 20% of your product line, and so really take a look at focusing, finding a niche, and then promoting that niche.
Okay.
And again, in line with that, the second thing I would say is get into social media, and but be smart about it and do it right. And again, authenticity is key. Engage with your people that have similar interests, not from not as somebody there to simply sell to them, but really look to establish real relationships with them, and I think you'll find from that you're able to bring in new customers.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, think like a buyer. So going back to that idea of giving your store a makeover, we often see merchants, I think small merchants in particular, get very caught up in the store as kind of an extension of who they are, and have a very specific vision of what the store should look like. But really beyond look and feel, beyond design, really go through your store and think like a buyer. Inspire trust. Again, tell your story, let them know who you are, and keep it simple.
It's interesting. We were visiting with a merchant on your last point there, thinking like a buyer, visiting with a very successful merchant a few weeks ago, and he told us that he spends a lot of time actually buying products on his own site because he wants to see what the customers see.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. So it's focus. Number 1, focus on your
business.
Mm-hmm.
Give social media a try.
Mm-hmm.
But be smart about it, and think like a buyer, and give your store a makeover.
All right. Lynn, we've got another minute or 2 left in our allotted time. Anything else on your mind for our listeners and readers? They're smaller e-commerce merchants, as you know.
Well, I think those 3 tips were a good wrap-up. Again, beginning of a new year, great time to take a good, hard look at your store, see how you can improve it. I think there are opportunities out there to both cut costs, but at the same time engage through social media and grow your business that way. Engage with existing customers of yours, and also go out and find new people who share your interests, and be ready to capitalize on the anticipated growth we expect to see in e-commerce this year.
All right. Well, for purposes of our listeners, Lynn's company is ProStores. That's eBay's ProStores. It's an all-in-one hosted solution. It's a leading e-commerce platform. Lynn is himself an e-commerce expert, and Lynn Shear, the senior marketing manager for ProStores. We want to thank you for your time today, sir.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.